Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. And earlier tonight, I did this video on how to do this, and somebody questioned that how I drew that. Well, I did not draw that. I emailed the person that emailed me the file, and they sent me to a video that they were trying to copy and just couldn't quite understand the blur. But I'm going to do a video on it, but I'm going to do it a little bit different than the gentleman did it. I'm going to take a four-sided polygon, basically, and I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. And then I'm actually going to do another one, and I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. Now I'm going to take this one and turn it to a three-sided, take this one and turn it to a three-sided. What that did for me was to put them in the center of the page, and that's pretty important if we bring in some indexing lines. You can see that that is in the center of the page. If we did not do that, the triangle would not be in the center of the page. Then bring in an ellipse and hit P and put it in the center of the page. You want it just to be past, so I'm going to hold down the shift key. You want it to be just past that part. Now to get these rounded corners, we're going to use the Docker, Windows Docker's corners, and we're going to say 0.75. And on this one, we're going to go a less, so 0.2, because it's smaller. Now, I'm going to actually take away the indexing lines for a second so they won't get involved. And I am going to just take a 2-point line and go from the quadrant right there straight. I don't know why that's happening. Go from the center of that to that node, and then go from that one, the node, to the node. Node. See, I'm on the edge, and I'm going to go up to the node. Then all I want to have to do is do this one time, is to take the virtual segment delete key. This is a pretty neat graphic. It's not great, but it's pretty nice. Now I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill in with a blue. Now, because we're in the center of the page, I only have to do that once. And then I'm going to get the interactive fill tool and come down here and put a darkness to that edge. And we're actually going to like bring it down quite a bit. Maybe bring this out, bring this back, because I just want a little bit of darkness. Now, because of we're in the center of the page, I can Control D, double click on my rotation, and put it in the center of the page. Now I'm going to rotate it 120 degrees. And that doesn't look right. And it's not. What did I do wrong? Let me back up here. Well, that looks right. Let me go forward till we get the darkness. You know what, maybe let's put on our indexing lines back to the center. Maybe I wasn't in the center. A lot of times it won't say it's not in the center. So I'm going to go off of it and come back. There we go. Now I'm going to rotate 120 degrees. Now I did not make a duplicate, so now I'm going to Control D and I'm going to go back 0. Somewhere I'm off. Somewhere, let's go again. Maybe I didn't have 120 degrees. See, it should fit to that line. Oh, there's the problem right there. You know, a lot of people, and that's somebody told me that one time, a lot of people would start over. Well, everybody makes mistakes. This line is not from the quadrant. So make the 2-point line, go from that node to, I was concerned about putting on this node. So now we have a better shape. Take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. There we go. You know, we could actually, no, we're going to leave it like that. Now, interactive fill tool, and go one way or the other, just put a little black in the one end, and then bring that bar, because you don't want too much black. That might not be enough, but that's fine. Control D and make a duplicate. Move the center rotation to the center. And rotate it 120 degrees. There we go, 120 degrees, 240 degrees. Now, there's two trains of thought here. You could just move this out of the way and actually repair that. Remember where I cut that out? And then fill this in with a blue. Or you could have just, I could have just filled in the tips. But by doing this, if we group this together, Control G, and then hit this and go up to Object, Order, Back of Page, when we put this back, it'll be behind the page. Now they made it a little bit darker. I'm going to take away the outline. And while holding down the control button, I'm going to add a little black. You see, just make it a little bit darker. Maybe that's too dark. We can put a little different color blues in it. And that's how that was done. Now the same thing I did earlier, you could take this and fill it with gray. Well, you know what? I have to smart fill it with gray. We'll smart fill it with blue, then we can fill it with gray. Take away the outline. And I'm going to make it just a hair bigger. I'm going to hold down the shift key and have it grow. And then I'm going to blur just like we did earlier, Gaussian blur. And say okay, and then move it over to our object. And same as before, order, back of page. But for some reason, that blur doesn't want to do that, so we have to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't group that. Control G, group it, and then go to object, order. Well, it's already front of page, so it should work now. Object, order. You know, it's doing the same thing it did earlier. Let's move it over and go object, order, object, order. How can they both be at the back of the page? Let me move this completely down. This is kind of curious now. How can they can't both be at the back of the page. Let's move that over. Now you can definitely tell that's at the back of the page. Let's try to grab our fuzz, our blur. There we go. There we go. That's what we wanted. It's a little bit of time lapse because that Gaussian blur, you know, you can see the bounding box that Gaussian blur makes out of the whole thing. Anyway, that's how to draw that. I would take away the outline on everything because you can kind of, well, you can see that red line, and now you can't. It's a pretty cool effect in a way. Anyway, I hope that answered their question, and thank you for watching.